From police to courts to prisons, African Americans often interact with a justice system many say is stacked against them.
What we've seen is, if you are poor and black, you are not going to get, in most cases, a fair shot in this criminal justice system. Even from minor offenses all the way up to more serious offenses.
Black Americans are more likely than whites to be stopped by police. Once stopped, they're more likely to be searched and arrested. Once arrested, they are more likely to be denied or simply not able to afford cash bail, and so they must wait in jail for weeks or months before a trial.
Bail is not supposed to be punitive. This is one of the things that people don't understand. You have not been convicted of a crime, so you are not supposed to, be punished before you've been convicted.
Many African Americans, who often have fewer resources than whites, must rely on overworked public defenders who have little time or resources to mount a vigorous defense in court. Blacks are more likely to be convicted and are almost 6 times as likely to be incarcerated as whites. The racial disparity in incarceration has been narrowing in recent years, but blacks typically receive longer sentences than whites. Nearly half of the more than 200,000 people serving life in prison are African American. Policies like the so-called war on drugs, sentencing disparities between crack and powder cocaine, and mandatory minimum sentences have all fueled mass incarceration and had a disproportionate impact on African Americans.
It takes discretion away from judges. They don't get to look at you as an individual and look at your individual circumstances. They look at numbers and their hands are tied. And that, I think, is really troubling and problematic.
After being released from prison, it's often hard to find a job or rent an apartment, and in many cases, former prisoners are not allowed to vote. And when blacks are the victims of crime, especially violent crimes like homicide, those crimes are less likely to be solved.
So wait a minute, we're supposed to pay taxes for the police department to serve and protect us. Not only do they not do that or solve our crimes or even show up when we dial 911, but when we're not doing anything, they harass, stalk, profile, threaten, and kill us.
Advocates are pushing for criminal justice reform, but many see it as one symptom of a much larger problem in the United States.
I'm not just fighting police violence, I'm fighting the source of it, right? This social, political, economic system, which you heard me earlier, call it a low-down, dirty, filthy, rotten system, and that's what it is.
Advocates of criminal justice reform know that ending systemic racism in the U.S. justice system won't be easy, but they hope the conviction of Derek Chauvin and the Department of Justice investigation into the Minneapolis police will help bring about real change. Jim Spellman, CGTN, Minneapolis, Minnesota.